application, submission, and review of a DOMI permit. In this video, we're going to walk through everything you need to know about applying for a DOMI permit within OneStopPGH. DOMI regulates all construction activities within the public right-of-way. We'll start by applying for a new permit. To get started, log into your OneStopPGH account. If you have not already done so, please register for an account by selecting the Register button at the bottom of the screen. Once logged in, select Home and scroll to Start a New Application. Here you can start a new permit, appeal, license, registration, or zoning application. To start a new permit application, we'll select Permits. The screen will navigate to where you can apply for many different permits. All DOMI permits are listed here. PLI permits are listed above, and fire permits are listed at the bottom. For more information about PLI permits, please see the video called Overall Application Process of a PLI Permit. For this video, we're going to apply for a DOMI moving permit. However, this video applies to all DOMI permits and plans as the workflow and processes are the same. For more information on DOMI permits, you can visit our website. Our OneStopPGH chat in the lower left-hand corner is staffed by our employees Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please use the chat to ask questions. You can call us Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 412-255-2370. For a response outside of these hours, you can email us at domipermits@pittsburghpa.gov. That's DOMIPERMITS @PITTSBURGHPA.gov. New permit application. To start the application, select the desired permit. This takes you to an acknowledgement page. This provides some additional information for the permit you are applying for, as well as contact information should you have any questions about proceeding. Once you are confident you are applying for the correct permit or plan, select Agree and press the now activated Submit button. This takes you to a new permit application that is in draft status. If you want to save your work at any time, make sure you select the Save button at the bottom of each page. DOMI permits require a type of structure, type of work, both, or neither. If these fields are marked as required with a red asterisk, and you try to move forward without these fields, you will not be able to. Select values for these fields. There's more information about these on our website. For this application, we will be selecting Moving Vehicle. You will be taken to the next step of the application. You can now see all steps needed to complete this application. If you have filled out all required fields, the step will have a green check mark next to it. Enter a brief description of the work you're performing. Under Application, you may be required to enter a description of work or other fields. However, for this application, the fields are not required. If you are associated with and would like to apply as a contractor, you may select the Apply As field. You may tie this application to a project if one has been created for you. You may designate that you are the owner of the parcel selected later in the permit, and you may add additional contacts. Under Location, select where the permitted activity is occurring. Depending on the type of permit, you may be required to enter a parcel, street segment, both, or neither. For this application, both are required. You can search for parcels by entering the address or parcel number of the property. If you search by address, do not enter the street type like street, road, avenue, etc. Only enter the street number and street name. For example, I want to search for 100 Ross Street. I will only type in 100 Ross, which immediately pulls up the correct location. If you search by parcel, enter the entire parcel number without hyphens. There's an example above of what this looks like. You can search for street segments using the map or a search tool. To use the map, you can start by entering your address in the top right-hand corner of the map. This will take you to the location on the map. Next, click on the Selection tool on the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Click a street segment and it will be highlighted. You can select multiple segments. To unselect a segment, click on it again. Once you are satisfied with your selection, click the Select Segments from Map button directly below the map. You will now see the segment appear as an entry on the permit in the grid below the map. To use the street segment search tool, only enter the street name like Ross. You can then go through the list and select all of the segments that you need. If there are multiple locations, in this case both a parcel and a street segment, you will need to select a primary address. To travel to the next step, select Next, or select the desired step above. I selected Details section, where we're asking for details concerning the dates of occupancy and other information, like the number of moving vehicles and the name of the moving company. To start, select the calendar icon in the Occupancy Dates From field. Here you will add the start date of the work. There's no need to add the end date for moving vehicle permits. You will automatically be granted the next day for a total of 2 days of activity. You will then be required to add the number of vehicles and optionally enter the name of the moving company. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to intentionally leave this required field blank to demonstrate what happens when you miss a requirement. You will be required to complete the traffic obstruction description below. For something like a moving vehicle, a likely description would be using parking lane in front of property on Ross Street to load multiple items of furniture. There is an option to add construction site supervisor contact information. Selecting Next will bring up the Documents tab. Here you will upload documents. This grid will show if documents are required. If a document is required, a checkbox will show in the first column under Required. For some DOMI permits, documents may not be required, which means you do not need to upload anything. Moving permits do not require any documents. But just in case you would like to upload a supplemental document, scroll down to Uploaded Documents. To upload a document, click the Upload Files button. Select the document from your device. Please provide a few seconds for the document to fully load. Next, you can select a document type from the drop-down. If I try to go to the Finish step, I will get an error message telling me to complete all steps before proceeding. This is because I failed to satisfy a requirement under the Details step. If you receive this error, travel to the steps without a green check mark to satisfy the required fields. Once you've done that, you can select Finish, which takes you to a summary of the information you filled out. Review that this information is accurate. We will show you the fees due to submit the application. Moving vehicle permits do not require any application payment. Payment is only required at issuance. Before you are able to pay or submit your application, make sure you read our attestations and checkboxes. Application incomplete. If your application does not meet proper standards to move forward, you will get this email stating your application requires more information to proceed. To provide that information, log in and navigate to the home page. Under My Activities, find the permit and click Additional Info Required under the Actions column. The Required Information heading will state what information is needed to move the application forward. Make the changes in the correct step. Go to the Finish step to resubmit the application. You will be rerouted to this page where you will see the application was successfully resubmitted. You will also see that the permit status changed from Application Incomplete back to Submitted. DOMI application technicians will review the application for completeness. You will get an email if your application still does not meet proper standards to move forward. You can keep refreshing this page to see if the status changes. Applicant Revisions. During application review, if it's determined that you need to provide revisions, you will get this email. To provide revisions, log in and navigate to the home page. Under My Activities, find the permit and click Revisions Required under the Actions column. Navigate to the Documents step. Here you can download the Plan Review Summary Report, which line itemizes the changes that are necessary. You can also download documents that are marked up. The markups show exactly where in the document revisions are needed. At the bottom, you should upload your revised documents. You may adjust any of the field values in the application on the other steps. To submit your application, go to the Finish step and select Submit. You will be rerouted to this page where you will see that revisions were successfully submitted. You will also see that the permit status changed from Applicant Revisions back to In Review. Detailed Street Mapping Selection. Now we will go over how to use the mapping tool to select segments in some detail. To zoom in on a specific location on the map, you can start by entering your address in the top right-hand corner, labeled Find Address or Place. This will pan to the location on the map. To begin selecting street segments, you must activate the selection tool icon from the bottom right-hand corner of the map. The icon will change color to indicate the selection tool is activated. Next, click a street segment and it will be highlighted in yellow. You can select multiple segments. To unselect a street segment, click on it again. Once you are satisfied with your selection, you must click the Select Segments from Map button directly below the map. This will add the segments to the map. You can confirm this by viewing the different segments populated on the grid below. Detailed grid selections. The street segments must be selected in order to properly populate the grid row. After selecting the appropriate street segments on the Location step, you can begin populating the grid row. To begin, click on the plus icon. Here you will need to fill out all the required fields. First, I will choose an address for the permit. This may or may not be required depending on the permit type. This will be a list of addresses from the Location step. For grids, the street segment will always be required. You will be provided a list of street segments that are on the permit. To select segments for a specific grid entry, check the open boxes to the left of the entry. A Confirm Selection button will appear. When you are satisfied with your selection, click the Confirm Selection button. The whole list will convert to a table of the selected segments. If you determine that the selection is incorrect, you can click the Update Selection button. This will return the original list presentation. You can then fill out the rest of the required and optional fields and click OK. You will see that a row entry is added. You may add as many row entries as necessary. If you determine that a row needs to be updated, use the scroll bar to go from the far right of the row and click the Edit icon. You can now update the grid and click OK. The changes will be reflected in the presentation. Thank you for viewing this video and visiting OneStopPGH.